Militarily Speaking, episode 44, Honor the Brave.
This is going to be my favorite episode because my lucky number is 4. And so 44, this could be a good day.
That makes sense.
Yep, completely. It did to me. This episode, we talk with Zanna Wolfgang, co-founder of Honor the Brave.
Wait, first of all, so Zanna Wolfgang, which sounds to me like either a DJ or some spiritual creature, but because I love that name, so I took it a step further, Zanna, if you're okay with this. I looked up what Zanna means.
Oh, okay.
It's also known, this is perfect for you, it's known as imaginary friends, a type of creature that acts as guides and guardian angels to children in need of them. My name doesn't quite compare to that. When I think of Tom or Jodi, there's no definition that came out with Zanna like this one did.
I'm going to have to Google the meaning of Tom after this.
Well, that's a fun one. Yeah, I want to know the meaning of Tom for sure. Yeah. And that's
I'm just going to make one up.
So does my family. Yep. So
I committed today to learning something new, and you just helped me check that box. Yes, okay. I now know what my name means.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Zanna was our guest today. So now we're going to get going now. Okay. So welcome to Militarily Speaking. Brought to you by Armed Forces Bank. This is Tom McLean and Jodi Vickery. I'm the Regional Military Executive for Armed Forces Bank, and Jodi is the Executive Vice President, Director of Military Consumer Lending.
Yes, you said we're going to get
You're
going.
Coming up on your 3-year anniversary, too, with the company.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
All right.
Welcome to our show. We're excited to have you listening and learning about our guest, Zanna. See, there it is, with Honor the Brave. So bear with us for just a second because you know all of this, but I do want to share a bit about you with our audience. Zanna Wolfgang is the co-founder of Honor the Brave, a real estate benefit program dedicated to serving first responders and veterans. She and her husband, Jeff Wolfgang, created Honor the Brave following his premature retirement from law enforcement after being injured in the line of duty. Given her background in real estate, her focus was to find a way to stay connected, give back, and make an impact with the resources they had. It's not just what they do, it's how they do it that sets Zanna and her husband Jeff apart from other veteran and first responder real estate programs. They've walked the walk and they know the sacrifices made, not only by those who serve, but their families as well. And together they get to make a difference with every transaction. In 2017, after moving their family from California to Montana.
Jealous. I already told Zanna I'm jealous that she lives in Montana. It's paradise.
I know. I have this visual of Montana and it's very just peaceful.
What do you see? You just see parks and
open
stuff.
Open and buffalo.
Wilderness.
Yeah, I'd probably be afraid of the buffalo. Stay in the house.
So is Deion Sanders. Yeah.
That's a different problem. But after moving to Montana, they saw the need to support other military and first responder families making big moves. So they expanded Honor the Brave to provide a nationwide platform by partnering with realtors who share their passion for serving those who serve. Together, they provide Brave benefits to qualified candidates, including a rebate equal to 10% of the realtor commission, a donation equal to 5% of the realtor commission to a charity of the client's choice, impacting first responders or veterans, and a beautiful handmade wooden flag. Zanna is committed to creating an experience of appreciation for everyone.
What a great story right there.
It is. Yeah. It is. And having bought a couple of houses, I know that 10% and 5% of that commission is no small sum of money.
No.
That's amazing. Outside of her professional life, Zanna cherishes the role of wife to Jeff, her high school sweetheart, married 23 years, mom to their sons Colton and Kyler. She's a funny farmer, which I am hoping we learn more about.
We will.
And she hosts a podcast called Victim, Survivor, Thriver. She's passionate about empowering herself and others to thrive in life and love despite adversity. And here it is. What's a funny farm? I foreshadowed that.
This is coming soon.
I'm still intrigued by this, even though I know what this says. It began with goats, followed by alpacas. Is that right? Cooney pigs.
Right.
Everybody go Google that while you're listening. Yeah. Mini Highland cows, chickens, ducks, and more. She finds working with animals therapeutic and enjoys sharing the joy of their daily shenanigans with others. What is thriving to Zanna? Working hard, doing what she loves, shoveling, literally and figuratively.
I can't say that on
Starts
PG.
with an S.
Yeah,
imagination. When necessary, having meaningful conversations, making an impact, and just celebrating the little things and the big things each and every day. I like her already.
I'm going to steal this and put it next to my name so people know how enthusiastic and inspiring I am. And I'll just call it my own because just reading.
Change your legal name to Zanna.
If ever we're having a bad day, Monday through Friday, we should call her.
Yes.
And make us feel better.
I work here in a funny farm when I'm doing this with Tom. It's a different kind of funny farm.
Whole nother funny farm. Yeah.
Totally different. So welcome, Zanna. It's an honor to have you on our show. Thank you so much for being with us. And I'd love to just give you the floor to start with and just tell folks about Honor the Brave as an organization. And we'll just dive in from there.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm so grateful to be here today. Thank you guys so much for having me and all your kind words. And yes, Honor the Brave is very much a light at the end of what felt like a dark tunnel for Jeff and I. He loved what he did. As I said, we are high school sweethearts. I always say, I feel like I got to see the boy I fell in love with become the man he was meant to be, finding his calling in law enforcement. And unfortunately, he was run over by a gang member in a stolen vehicle who didn't want to go back to prison. And it led to multiple surgeries, ultimately ending his career. And obviously, that wasn't an ideal situation. And his career ended not on his terms. And it was a broken season for him, for us as a couple, as a family. And watching him walk through that, the physical part was probably, though very challenging, probably the easier part than the mental, emotional aspect of that. And figuring out what was next. And I knew that it's important to do what you're passionate about. And my background was real estate. And it was really just a scramble of, hey, why don't you join me in real estate? And he was like, oh, no way. And that's the nice version of that. And I said, well, what if we figure out a way to focus on your people and let's play with this and let's figure out a way to give back. And so that definitely did resonate with him. And he was literally in a hospital bed in our living room when we had this conversation. And so it grew from there. And it's just turned out to be this beautiful light at what wasn't a good situation. And we can look back on all of it, even the accident, everything, as a blessing now because of where we are today and the people like you guys we're meeting because of getting to start this program. And so what Honor the Brave, is it began super local. And then we took it nationwide in 2017. And what we do is we provide what we call Brave benefits. So if someone is going to buy or sell and they are current or previous military or first responder, they can come through our program and then we align them with a realtor partner wherever they're going to buy or sell. And we work hard to vet those partners and make sure they're one, good at what they do, but also really share those values of appreciation for those who sacrifice so much. And we provide Brave benefits. And so as you said in the beginning, what that looks like is 10% back as a thank you for their service. 5% gets to impact a charity that they choose. And we do require that the charity does impact first responders or veterans because we know there's such a need and we really want to make a ripple effect in those communities in a positive way. And then we have an active duty Marine that we've been blessed to work with. And he builds us our beautiful handmade wooden flags that we ship to our partner to present at closing. Yeah, really make a special experience. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, good answer. Good program. It's weird how they always talk about like Steve Jobs was in a garage and he came up with an idea to start Apple or something. But to just have just a conversation about what's important to you, maybe where your passions are, maybe what your experience is to come up with a solution like that really handles 2 or 3 or 4 different things because you're taking care of charities, you're taking care of financing at a discount potentially, and building relationships with people that are part of your, I guess, that brotherhood and sisterhood, right, with the military. So it's very cool. Yeah. And we could go beyond that and talk about those realtor relationships too, about how do they find you, how do you find them, and what is that background? Because Jodi, we both know that she and I both like to do background checks on people, right?
So some more than others.
How does that come? How do they come to you, or how do you go out and find them?
Well, first and foremost, I'm grateful to have passed your background check. Far as
if you see him on his phone, he's still doing it.
Oh, okay, good to know. I think I'm clean enough. That said, how I find our realtor partners, it began very organically. And so it mostly began as we started going nationwide as clients presented themselves, I would reach out to an agent in that marketplace and, build the relationship in that way. But now it's become a lot more proactive than that. And they come to us sometimes, which is a beautiful thing. And a lot of times they hear about us from another partner that we have that raves about what we do. And kind of back to even that conversation about Honor the Brave is when we were figuring out even what to name it, there was so much heart and thought that went into all of it. Cause we were brainstorming words and things that were meaningful, Jeff and I, and, there's other programs out there that use the word hero and things like that. And Jeff's like, yeah, that's what other people say, but none of us consider ourselves a hero or identify with that. So we talked about what they do identify with and words that were meaningful, and honor was a big deal and brave was a big deal. And so even right down to the name, there was a lot of thought put into what we chose, Honor the Brave. And then our realtor partners, I think they appreciate and feel the heart behind what we do. And so as we align with partners throughout the country, they feel that and experience that and then start spreading the word to other realtors. And so now we're so blessed to have people reaching out to us to be a part of this program, not always seeking them out. That said, when I am seeking someone out, I too do my form of a background check and just really find out, how many transactions are they doing? Are they great at what they do? And do they align with our values and really share that passion for serving those who serve? And because I feel like each one of them is an extension of us and the heart behind what we do. And it helps us, make this as big as it is and able to impact more people. But they do have to kind of be an extension of us. And so it really matters to me that we're building a really great family of like-minded people.
Jodi and I both know in our business, especially, that when you align yourself with a vendor or have a relationship with a vendor, that your brand is at risk every day. Mm-hmm. And you want to do the same with who you are in your business to be able to have that representation come through with the same values, the same culture, the same dedication that you have from a service standpoint. Because once you refer someone or once you take on a vendor, it's your name, period.
Absolutely.
Yep, no, that's very, very true. And so don't be shocked if Tom volunteers to have his side hustle be doing your background check work for you.
Perfect. That would be amazing. I trust your judgment, Tom.
Oh, wow. That's a big
we've got Zanna snowed already.
That's a big statement. You are brave. I do want to mention, and we'll mention it a few times, the website. So if prospective realtors are interested, it's honorthebrave.com, right?
Yes. I know that www matters now. It didn't used to, but you got to put that in to get where you need to go.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I also like that you have a capital T in there because it does distinguish you. I've noticed in all your literature that that's the way it's represented. So is that correct?
Yes. And I know that's not, per grammar correct, but per the boldness of what we're doing, it is absolutely how we do it.
So and I'm a grammar police person, right? So you get a free pass. I kept wanting to do that. It kept auto correcting on me, but then I looked at your website and said, this is the way it's going to have to be.
You are the grammar police. I got him a t-shirt once that had all these really bad grammar sayings on it and he threw it in the trash.
I did.
Instantly.
Oh dear.
Yes. So I want to talk about your podcast. You have a podcast out there called Victim Survivor Thriver. One of your episodes is called Life's a Dance, Learn as You Go. I'm not going to sing that, even though that is a John Michael
But I'm singing it right now, John Michael Montgomery.
Me too.
In my head, I have an earworm now, but I'm not going to let that come out because
everybody share this. We share this earworm.
Have you seen JMM perform?
I have not seen him perform live. Okay. Darn it. But maybe one of these days.
Oh, Tom has. Tom sees everybody perform.
I average 33.67 concerts per year. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. I did just see Clint Black, which was an oldie but goodie to get to see. One. He was great. Yeah.
That's a very good. So how long have you been doing your podcast? I'm not going to let Tom go into his concert journey.
Oh, we can talk about that later, Tom. I'm a music buff myself.
Before you answer, though, because my proposal song or engagement song or something was I Love the Way You Love Me.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Isn't that a great song?
Okay, but
it is a beautiful song.
I know. Well, these are opposite extremes.
Life is a dance. Life is a dance, and we do learn as we grow. Hopefully, we hopefully do.
Facts by Tom McLean. But tell us about your Tell us about your podcast. Talk about the mission and what made you want to start that podcast.
Yeah, it had been on my heart for quite a while to start it. And though separate from Honor the Brave, there are many opportunities where that I feel like it crosses paths, right? Because of the circle of people that I have on there. A lot of times there are some folks who have walked through some hard things in military or first responder worlds. But victim, survivor, thriver, what that is to me is just, I'm really, really passionate about empowering people, and myself included, because I have been in that victim space. And what I know about that space is we give up our power when we remain there. And so what victim, survivor, thriver is an opportunity to have conversations with everyday, ordinary folks who have maybe found themselves in that space as well, and what they did to move through that and take their power back. And instead of being in that victim space, being a survivor of whatever circumstances, and adversities have challenged them. And then ultimately, thriver to me is the ultimate goal, which is learning from all that we walk through, the lessons, the blessings. And I feel like lessons become blessings if we choose to learn from them, and thriving in life. And so it's just a very honest, from the heart podcast for me, and an opportunity to connect and hopefully give people some nuggets of, hey, we've all been in hard places, and this is what this person or that person did to get to the other side. And hopefully you can too.
And tell our audience where they can find that when they want to listen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. The podcast itself, that's a very good question.
You got her.
As far as the website for it. But if you go to any of your platforms, whether it is Spotify, all your major platforms, Apple, just look up Victim, Survivor, Thriver, and you can find the podcast there. And if you also go to thrivefarm.co, there is a link to the podcast there as well.
Excellent.
So this funny farm thing, we're going to go back to the funny farm thing, okay?
Yes.
So talk about that with our audience. I know it's part of your DNA. It's part of who you are, and it's like we said in the bio and the intro to you that it's meaningful stuff for you, and they give you sort of that drive, right? And you just keep thinking about those animals.
I really do. If I could spend all day, every day down there, I would, but duty calls, and I love what I get to do, so I'm not complaining. But there is just something so cathartic about getting to be down, spending time with our animals. And so what is a funny farm? You listed all the animals that we currently have. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, would I have all these animals and be shoveling poop day in and day out and loving every minute of it? I would have thought you were crazy, but here I am living my best life, thriving, shoveling all the things.
Yeah, you are a survivor.
They are.
Yep.
Yes.
And she's got cool boots that she wears when she does it.
I do. I have some great muck boots, and I have muck boots for you if you come visit too.
And she's in Montana, don't forget.
I know.
Yep.
I am in Montana, which Montana is certainly one of the other many blessings that came from, again, what a hard season that felt like the end of the world. I don't know that we would have taken the leap that we did to pick our perfect canvas as a family. This wouldn't be everyone's perfect canvas, but it certainly is ours. The wide open spaces, the mountains. Jeff likes to say it was just meant to heal people. There's something, I feel close to God when I'm here. And I talk to God down at the funny farm every day. I don't pray like everyone else, but I walk down there every day, and I thank God that this is my life, and that everything good and bad has led me to this place where, yes, I get to go down, and we have alpacas, Kuni pigs, which Kuni pigs you must Google because they are so ugly.
I was just going to say that.
I'm scared.
They're adorable.
Information security is going to come knocking on my door if I start doing Kuni pigs.
Yes, they might. But they are just the cutest, sweetest little souls. The Highland cows are so fun. I think just everyone. We have chickens now. We get eggs. It's great. We have fresh eggs for us and our friends. And the ducks have been a fun little addition. And just, it's all so great. We started with the goats. And because we bought some land and thought, well, we gotta do something fun here.
We gotta dress it up with something.
And they are such characters. And then I happened upon those Kuni pigs, and I truly fell in love with them. So I've literally had all of these animals in my car at one time or another, even the cows.
What kind of a car do you have?
Now I have a Suburban, but they have been in a 4Runner as well. But they're just, and again, though it's separate from, Honor the Brave, it's intertwined. All of it is so intertwined because we get to share this. We actually just had one of the folks from Big Sky Bravery, which is a nonprofit we love here in Montana, come out and visit, and they support, actually, I believe they're the only nonprofit that does programs for active duty special forces folks and gives them the opportunity to come out here and decompress between tours, and it's truly a phenomenal organization. That said, they've layered on spouses programs now and family programs. And so I just said, if there's families here, feel free to bring them out to the funny farm. It's truly so good for the soul. These animals are so sweet. They all just love on everyone and everyone loves on them. And they truly are just good for the soul, for lack of better words. And so we get to impact people even in our Honor the Brave world with this silly little funny farm.
Zanna, say that Big Sky full name again, because I think if people want to take that information and go with it, they can find out more.
Absolutely. Big Sky Bravery. It's an amazing nonprofit organization that does a lot to really impact our special forces folks.
I assume they have a website and they can find out more information too about that too. Okay.
BigSkyBravery.org. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And now, spoiler alert, you can't answer this question because you know the question in advance, Zanna, but there's a story about a certain animal, right?
Yes.
That Jodi's going to ask you specifically. How about that for teeing up a question that you have a question?
Well, and I think if I was going to have goats, I would want to have the fainting goats.
Why?
Have you seen that?
That's on my list.
Is there such a thing?
They're so funny. You need to Google
Is that
fainting
like
goats.
tipping a cow?
Oh, yeah. It's like you scare them and they literally fall over. It's the best.
Even when they're active and awake?
We are doing that after this podcast.
That is the one thing I still say we need to add, because you can't have a funny farm without fainting goats. So that is on my to-do list for sure.
You should get a fainting goat and name it Tom. That would be perfect.
Okay.
This could be the newest attraction in Montana, right? You could sell tickets. Yeah,
it could. I have done moonshine and yoga goat days out here, so we checked all those boxes.
Why not?
Wait, I need a minute. Good.
It's a lot.
What's it say? Say that again. 'Cause there's a lot going on just in that one thing.
We have done so. In fact, we did an event for Big Sky Bravery as a fundraiser, moonshine and yoga at the Funny Farm, and so everyone got to come do yoga first. If they wanted a sip of moonshine, they could have it first, and then visit the Funny Farm, and then we tasted some moonshine. It was a wonderful day.
Could you imagine
if need moonshine to bend that way?
Could you imagine if I had moonshine and went to the Funny Farm at the same time and tried yoga?
I am purposely not going to imagine that. So we do need to hear, and then we'll get back to maybe more serious things. But we hear there is a funny story about the alpacas.
Yes, gosh. Well, so
what is? Wait, first of all, what's an alpaca? First of all.
Isn't it like a llama?
That's what I thought. Yes.
That it was
kind
a
of
llama.
are like small llamas. And my girlfriend, as I started accumulating my Funny Farm crew, she's like, you need alpacas. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not a fan of llamas. And I thought that that's what they were. That said, this is Montana for you. I went to the mall one day on a snowy day and there were baby alpacas there. And I fell in the mall. And I fell in love with these alpacas. I'm sending my husband pictures. I'm like, we need alpacas. And he acts like it's my crazy, and it is, but he enjoys it too. He just gets to, make it my crazy, but he loves them and fell for him just as hard as I did. So yes, we ended up at the alpaca farm a few days later and put deposits down on 3 alpacas. And then when they were ready a few weeks later, we brought them home in my 4Runner. So I have pictures of driving down the street with alpacas all like looking at me in the rearview mirror. And it's evolved since then. I think I picked up the pigs in the car. They were little piglets, so that wasn't so much. But we recently came home. We drove all the way to Nebraska in April and came home with 2 miniature Highland calves in our Suburban. And then my son and I went back at the end of August to bring 1 more calf home in the Suburban. So we're driving down the road with cows in the car these days.
That's awesome. I want to pull up next to them on the highway.
I can only imagine what people think. Yeah.
They'll be going to the Funny Farm after they see that.
Actually, this is a fun story I have to share.
Do it.
We bottle feed the baby calves. And so we keep them kind of in the garage till we transition them down to the barn. Anyway, we're bottle feeding them and they'll pop in our little mud room. One of our calves pooped in one of Jeff's boots and he put his foot in the boot and his face. What? He's like, they pooped in the boot. No, it was the best.
I thought it was cute when my kids pooped around me. So it is like family, right? So just treat it like family if they're animals.
Yes, they are family for sure.
I got nothing.
Sometimes I'll say something. You'll just be like, did he really say that?
I can't even reel that back to like a normal
bankers never say that.
Yeah.
So you have a merchandise shop, right? I don't know how long ago you stood that up on your site, but there's some cool stuff out there. Do you want to tell people what's out there and maybe what's coming, if you know any other merchandise that's coming?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of have twofold there. Of course, if you go to the Honor the Brave site, we have some Honor the Brave gear and some stuff that's kind of focused around living with purpose. So that's just at honorthebrave.com. And then we have our new Thrive Farm Co. site. And there we have a store. I call it Love and Shenanigans because it's just all the love and shenanigans from the funny farm. And it's just inspirations that I get daily from interacting here. And you can find a lot of fun things like, for instance, laugh till you snort from the pigs. We have some mugs like that. And take the bull by the horn is our inspiration from Rowdy, our big Highland, and just fun things like that. But my hope is just that it makes people smile like it does me.
Well, if it's on a coffee mug, then it definitely makes people smile.
Right? Yeah. I have wine glasses too. So it's like coffee to wine.
And then yoga.
And then
yoga.
and then
yoga. Yeah.
I do want to ask you, I know you've had the chance personally and through your network of realtors to help folks from, all over the country. Are there any that stick out to you? I always think it's great for our audience to make kind of a personal connection with a story or two of families that you've been able to help. Are there any that just stick in your mind and you think about them when you think about why you do what you do?
Absolutely. Gosh, there's so many. It's hard to choose just one. I think that's the hardest part about growing is I want to have that relationship with everyone, but beautifully our realtors create that extension. But one that most recently comes to mind for me that it made my heart smile for a lack of better words is she reached out. She is a police wife. Her husband had been involved in 3 different officer involved shootings. One was a situation during 2020 where there was a man on the loose out just trying to take out cops in their community and had shot one trainee that he had personally had the opportunity to train, and it sent him down a really hard path. He had experienced a couple hard things prior to that. And, just military and first responders, they just keep shoving stuff down and doing what they do. And it all kind of came bubbling up for him after this shooting, and it unraveled him. It unraveled their family, and they went through some really hard seasons. And little did I know, we have been vulnerable and shared some of our journey, both on the podcast and just through the years, even with posts about Honor the Brave, because I think it's important for people to know that we all go through the hard and there's hope. And so she had been kind of following that journey. And so then when these circumstances affected them and they felt an unraveling, she leaned on our story a bit. And she just shared that with me recently. He ended up medically retiring, and they relocated from where they had been living back to their hometown, which happens to be mine and Jeff's home in the foothills of California. And she reached out when they were going to do that, and we helped them get from point A to point B. And I thought, we are helping them move from point A to point B and start this new chapter. But little did I know the greater impact that we had been blessed to have on them until she sent me an email a couple weeks ago, and he's finally doing a lot better. He's getting the help he needs. And they started this new chapter. He's found some new purpose in coaching football, which I think that's so key, is finding purpose again. And she went at a first responder event and shared their story. And it was very empowering for her to have their pain have some purpose and be able to help others. And she reached out and said that we were a big part of her finding her way to be able to have the strength to, one, get to relocate and start this new chapter, but also get to share her story. And she learned that from watching our story. Then she got to her car after speaking, which she didn't think she was going to have the courage to do. And she did. And she really impacted people. And then the song Broken Halo, it's actually going to make me cry, by Chris Stapleton was playing. And she said the words, don't ask why, the answers are in the by and by. And that really resonated with her in that moment. Anyway, this was a recent story, so it comes to mind, but it was just so impactful to get to be a small part of this new season and a small part of hope for them. And that's why even Honor the Brave is so much bigger than just real estate transactions at the end of the day for us. It's just that happens to be the resource. we have to do what we do and be in relationship, but the relationships are so much greater than just a real estate transaction.
I can definitely feel that and how you talk about it and how you tell that story. It occurred to me as you were telling that story, I don't think you're ever going to see the full horizon of how far your ripple effect is going with this, because you've helped her and you've empowered her, and then somebody's going to hear her, and that's just going to continue to pay forward. And that's a pretty awesome legacy that you're building.
I hope I don't ever see it. I just hope it keeps rippling, that we all get to contribute to the big difference we can make together.
Zanna says it so well on her LinkedIn page. She says that she's passionate about living with purpose and inspiring others to do the same. And I guess you can check the box on that too. And you can, right, if you look at your bucket list, or if you look at the things that have meaning, because it seemed like you almost drew a line in the sand, Zanna, where it said, okay, I'm never going to be negative again. I'm never going to have those feelings again. I'm always going to find a way out and find some positivity in my life. And that is cool. And
thank you.
She has 3,991 followers. I'm still not a stalker, but I have 691 followers. I've got a long way to go to catch up to her.
How many of those are your family members?
690.
I have a big family too, Tom, so it could be.
It's Tom McClain, Tom McClain 1, Tom McClain 2.
But I say this for a couple of reasons. How can people find you? So you talked about your podcast platforms, but you're out on social media and different sites as well. So what are those?
Yeah, as you just spoke to LinkedIn, that's just Zanna Wolfgang. You can definitely find me there. Of course, on social media, both Facebook and Instagram. And then, of course, Brave has its own page on both of those sites, as well as Thrive Farm Co., where you can follow all of our daily funny farm shenanigans. And that's, we need a little more light in our life. And that's why I share that every day, because you can't not smile when you see the shenanigans that take place here at the Funny Farm Daily.
You know what you're going to have to do, Zanna? I don't know if you're on TikTok, but don't you think a Funny Farm TikTok thing could work with moonshine?
The moonshine could be that. Yes, definitely. That could be a whole channel, a YouTube channel, maybe.
TikTok enabler, right there.
And usually they're like 15 or 20 seconds, so it couldn't be that bad, right?
Yeah, who knows? It's a layer. I should put my kids in charge of that. And also have the Victim Survivor Thrivers also on Facebook and Instagram as well.
This is one of those podcasts too where it's not really scripted when it comes down to here's what my business does and blah, blah, blah. And those are all great. But getting behind the scenes of you, Zanna, thanks for opening up to us on that kind of stuff, because I'm of the belief that people bank with people, and I'm of the belief that people will work with you because of who you are as a person. Patriot, great human being. So
thank you. I believe the same.
I guess I can't give any more kudos to that. Yeah.
I believe that people work with people that they know and relate to. I wasn't specifically speaking to me.
Unconditional trust that goes with that too. Yeah. And knowing that you're going to look out for them and have their back.
Absolutely.
But that leads me to my next question too. This probably gets on the personal level, right? Is, when I interview candidates that work at the bank, I always say, what would your supervisor say about you, right? Or what would your coworker say about 2 sons and your husband say about you?
Yeah.
Besides saying that you need to go farm or the peanut gallery or something, but what would they say?
I think that they would say, I am really positive. I find the good and even the hard situations. And I hope that inspires them to do the same. And I believe that to be true. And that I'm just not afraid to get out of my comfort zone. And I know the blessings that come from that. And I think they see that in me. And I hope that in them to do that. I think it's funny you said I'm so positive. And during COVID, our younger one, who's a senior in high school this year, started calling me Mooma. And I was like, oh, that's cute. I don't know. I have a funny farm. I was like, well, why do you call me Mooma after a while? And he's like, because you're mooing about everything. I was just in a funk.
Might be a grandmother name for my wife. Yeah,
I was just in a kind of a funk through that, because I missed interacting and smiling at people, and I hated the ugly I was seeing between people. And instead of being the light that I usually am, I was complaining about it. And my husband was like, it's a bad day when I'm the positive one at the table. And it was a great reality check for me, though, because I am generally super positive and look for the light. And so I was like, oh, okay, if that's how you're seeing me show up, then I need to check myself right now and no more mooing. And, but yeah, so in that moment, it's funny that I allowed myself to get in a funk, but it really made me super clear of like, okay, I got to pay attention to what I'm focusing on and looking at and finding the light even in dark situations. But mostly I think they think I'm a pretty positive mom.
Yeah. Zanna, I've always heard that it's better to be negative during COVID versus positive, but I'm glad that you were positive during that difficult time for us as a nation.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be funny, but
nobody laughed.
I know, I laughed.
We're going to have to put a laugh track on top of that one.
Well,
I think we can do that. Or you can put a buzzer.
Yeah.
Moral is even I can get in a funk apparently, but I checked myself.
Never. You're always on stage and always positive.
Well, I don't want to overstay our welcome, but I do want to give you a chance to tell us anything that we haven't thought to ask you or things you think are really important to highlight about Honor the Brave, about Thrive Co. Excuse me. I keep wanting to say .com, but it's Thrive Farm Co. Yes. Anything at all that we haven't talked about that you think is really important for folks to hear? I know that whether they're a realtor or a prospective family that you might be able to help, they can go to your website, honorthebrave.com, www.honorthebrave.com, and connect you there. But anything else you want to highlight?
Yeah, definitely follow all of those things. I hope to be a little all of anyone who chooses to follow along's life. And just truly, it's not just what we do, it's why we do it. And I think we can make a difference. And so that's my hope, is to be in relationship with people that see that and want to be a part of this family that we're building, whether that's Thrive Farm Co., the Thriver Tribe with Victim Survivor Thriver, or Honor the Brave. It's all intermingled. And I'm so grateful to get to meet people like you guys and so many others and just be building this family.
Awesome.
Well, we're happy to have you here, and we are going to,
she has to stay for
you've been gracious and you put up with Tom a lot today.
Wait,
I'm going to ask you to stay for just a couple more minutes.
Before we get to the military minute, that's really for our audience, right? Because she's not supposed to answer anything. I have a trivia question for you. You ready?
Oh.
Give me one famous alum from California State University, Sacramento.
Oh, geez. I should know these things. I don't know who's famous from there.
Do you want to Google it or not?
Should I Google it? How about you just, what's so funny? You're asking me a trivia is we go to this restaurant down the street all the time. The boys worked out and they have trivia night. And I'm like, this is my least favorite night. I just am not good at trivia. Okay. Trivia, not so good.
So one of the answers that you could have come through and told us the truth about this was Tom Hanks.
Who knew? I did not know this.
Who knew? Remember you wanted to learn something new every day?
I'm learning a lot today. I'm good for a couple days.
But also, and we know how much you're a baseball fan, Zanna, because Rhys Hoskins, the first baseman for the Phillies, also went to that university.
I mean, I don't know my baseball.
And now that Jodi is into music.
I did not go to school there.
Bobby McFerrin went there. What is Bobby?
He's the Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
A perfect song.
That's perfect for her.
That's a perfect song.
And then one final thing. So Cabrillo College, am I saying that right?
Yes, you are.
Sharon Jordan went there. And this is really creepy. Ready? She was an actress in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And I used to watch that show. Did you used to watch?
I did not watch Zack and Cody, but I do feel like I remember a thing such as Zack and Cody. But I didn't know that.
You know what the good thing is about podcasts is you can edit stuff. So
I think you have gone into overshare mode.
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. My kids will be so proud of me.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
Song lyrics, I can do that, but trivia is not my gift. And as far as athletics, I am a ball fan now because of my boys. But I help my husband pick his fantasy football team by how cute the player is and what colors
what
they
color
have.
Uniform.
Yeah. And he kicks butt actually every year based on my skill set of picking his players.
Well, there you go.
And I'm winless and I know football. So there you go.
Tom knows football. That's another podcast. Tom knows football. So we are Military Minute. I am not going to put you on the spot. But last week we had a kind of a compound 2 questions that really had nothing to do with each other. Military Minute. So if you remember, Tom,
And she can answer this.
you
if she
can
knows
answer
them.
if you know these. The second one in a minute, you can't answer. But last week we asked two things. Which former U.S. president was elected to the Golf Hall of Fame in 2011? And what was the original name of the Kansas City Chiefs?
Our last guest, Zanna, was an avid golfer and a KC Chiefs football fan diehard. So
Yeah.
we asked questions about that to see if our audience can get in the same playing field as Jeremy Rowe.
Oh, any guess?
Any guess about the former U.S. president?
I
had no clue.
Nothing. I am sorry.
Yeah. I had no clue either. The president that was in the Golf Hall of Fame in 2011 was George H.W. Bush. So the
Get
older,
the correct Bush. Yep.
the older Bush. And the Chiefs' original name
This was surprising to me.
really?
Yeah, I didn't know
actually
this.
might have guessed this one. The Dallas Texans when they were part of the AFL. So if you and both of those correctly, we said you had to get them both right. Watch for your name to be dropped as the one selected to win $50 for yourself and a $50 gift card for a charity of your choice. And moving into this week's Military Minute, you cannot answer this one because chances are high.
Wait, do you think
that
she'll
you'll
know it?
Well, maybe.
Is it about?
I actually might have known this one just from
Darn it.
childhood.
So it wasn't really challenging.
So, but nobody answered regardless. This week's Military Minute is about alpacas. So what defense mechanism do alpacas employ when they are threatened or feel the need to assert dominance within the herd? Don't answer.
Stop it, Zanna.
But if you do know the answer, watch for this podcast to drop and enter your answer. And then again, we'll tell you what the right answer is next time. And then you can also be selected to win the $50 gift card for yourself and $50 to a charity of your choice.
In parallel with Honor the Brave.
Yes. Yes.
Give
and you
them back
can
to charity.
spend it on merch.
You sure can.
Love
Thank you,
it.
Zanna.
Love it. Thank you guys so much. I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
It was awesome to meet you. You're an amazing human for sure.
She is.
Likewise.
If you, Zanna, if you enjoyed today's episode as much as Jodi and I did, go out to afbank.com and subscribe to the show. Also, make sure to rate us. Leave us a comment on your favorite podcast platform in similar fashion to Zanna's platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yes.
We love this episode. It's been awesome
was
just
fun.
to get to know you, and it was so engaging and uplifting. And I think when we title this episode and we put it out there, it's going to say Inspiration with Zanna Wolfgang. It's just going to be as simple as that.
Thank you.
And thank you for enlightening our as well as making them feel good.
I'm truly grateful. And if I can do anything to support you guys in the future, please let me know. And thank you for letting me pass the test to actually be worthy of being here today. So thank you.
Have a great rest of your day, and thank you very much.
You
Zanna.
guys too. It's a pleasure to meet you both. Take care. Bye.
Copyright 2022 Armed Forces Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All non-Armed Forces Bank owned apps, websites, company names, and product names are trademarks or registered trademarks of their respective owners. Their mention does not imply any affiliation with or endorsement by Armed Forces Bank of them or their products and services. They are merely used as examples of the many available apps, companies, and websites that offer similar services. Before using any app or website, you should carefully review the terms of use, data collection, and privacy policy. Apps may have an initial cost or in-application purchase features. This information is general in nature and is not intended to be legal, tax, or financial advice. Although Armed Forces Bank believes this information to be accurate, it cannot ensure that it could change. Statements or opinions of individuals referenced herein are their own, not Armed Forces Bank. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation and respective governing bodies for applicable laws, such as IRS.gov for current tax law. Armed Forces Bank, the Armed Forces Bank logo, and the Militarily Speaking logo are registered trademarks of Armed Forces Bank.